The davening, right? Over here, the problem is that it's till 10 after they won't even know. Like, give them Resnick is here, Blank is here. Okay, two guys are on. Okay, ready? Okay, Habit Erev Shabbos. Terry starts off with a very interesting thing. Eile tel des Noach, just starting. Eile tel des Noach, Noach is Sadik Tamoy B'dei Reisev. So we learn things, first of all, that the Toldos of Sadikim is their actions, not the person himself, not the children necessarily. Now, we all agree the children are important. That there's no question. The Schusim, on the other hand, the mitzvahs they do, what they accomplish, that has maybe a greater effect on the generation and on the people. And for that, really, they're told us what they've accomplished for the world could be a much greater inyan by telling us that that their deeds were great things. In other words, the fact that the Noach was able to save the world exists. If Noach would not have reached his madrege, the world would not exist anymore. The world would have ended with the Mabel. So the Rabbeinu Shalom, by the fact that we had such a person that was Noach, was able to continue the world to our present day, which has an effect on us. In fact, it also, does it make a difference to the world being a better place or not? That is a good question that we'd have to think about, because is the world a better place now than it was maybe that time? And we'll have to talk about that, because what was exactly Zechet and so on. As we go along, we'll talk about it, okay? Elotel is Noach is Sadik, Tomim Hayi B'dei Reisev. So there's two compliments it talks about him. One that he's a tzaddik and one that he's a tomim. The expression of tzaddik is used usually when there's a dispute and you say one guy is right. So he's tzaddik with him, so he's a tzaddik. So so that makes him right? But there's a question, there's a fight, there's what he called. And then Tomim is somebody that is pick on it. You see, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. This rachmim, you overlook things. And they say this. So he had a lot bigger test, because Rashi talks about the union of the difference between Avram and Noach. So like it seems that according to one man the Yoma, but Rashi says, I'm sorry, he says there's machlekes in the Gemara. One says it's a loshon of Genai. The pshat is he's not as big as Avram. And the other one was, if he would have been in the door of Avram in the same madrega that he was here, he would not be considered choshev. On the other hand, the other one is a praise. In his generation, he was a tzaddik. So surely if he would have been in the door of Avram, he would have been a bigger tzaddik. In other words, stuff like that. So therefore, it's like it's a compliment. But in both points, what we're really seeing is that Noach and Avram are not in the same league. In other words, whatever it was, he would have reached it if he was in the same generation or something like that. But right now, I'm not in the same generation, and therefore I didn't reach it. So is that really a taina on him? Because there were two requirements. Noach is dealing with Elikim. Dealing with Elikim, the judgment is very high. Avram, you'll find Ayem Hashem al Avram. There's a few times it says Elikim. I'm not denying that you have to go and weigh each one what he says at that particular time, what the Rebbeinu Shem wants from him. But it seems that the Rebbeinu Shem is asking him, Elikim, but midas harachmim, that you should perform. And therefore it's easier to perform under those circumstances than under midas adin. Noach was asked to perform under the midas adin. So that's much harder to do that. So I'm saying, so we're not really trying to measure Noach against Avram. That's silly, they're two different people and different things. But to say that Noach was nothing, that you can't say. No matter what shot you're going to say, it's not going to be the same thing. The difference is, it means how far can you go? And the big basic difference is, and again, the point is that Noach mi'atzmoi reached the sinas l'kimis halach Noach, whatever that means. That means I have a reason why I do something. Whether I understand what I'm doing, which we'll talk about that maybe one of the points, or pshat is I know that God's right over here and he's going to reward me immediately upon my doing good. So then, so that's one type of thing. And then there's the second one, which is his halach l'fonai ve'esamim, which is what he compares the two. Asher silachti b'fonai, that I went before him. But that was only after he was 99 years old, and the Rebbeinu Shem told him to do it. Noach, he didn't tell to do it. He only told Avram to do it. Now you can say, well, maybe Noach wasn't royal to be able to get up to this, and that's why he didn't tell it to him. But Avram was able to, so he's able to, could be, but we don't have any proof to that point. Over there, the Rebbeinu Shem was trying to bring Avram up to a higher level, so he gave him the mitzvah of his halach l'fonai. What's the difference between that one? Sorry. Since there is no reward necessarily waiting for you right away, so what is going to make you perform better? So somehow it's got to be built into your psyche that pshat is that it's more important to finish a Masechta than winning the state championship, right? And the chiyuv is on us to teach that to our children. It's not just a point that it's for ourselves to know it, but to our kids. Like they're reading in the world, oh, this kid did this and he did this, and then there's a fame who does it. No, ours, we have a different type of fame. We have a different type of concept and stuff. And he doesn't see any rewards. He doesn't see any things like that. So we have to bring him up differently. That's a big thing. Noach didn't have to bring his kids up differently. Hopefully they told him that, if you got to be smart, you'll be good kids. and stuff like that, because God's going to reward you. But the guy who doesn't see the reward, to him you got to bring up with the point of a new idea. This is more important. And that's, you have to teach him, and that's what the harder job is. And I think that's what the point of the difference between Noach and Avram truly is. Yeah. And he tells him to make a teva, and the teva, he gives him a proportion 300 amas long. That means 6 to 1, 50 wide. That's 6 to 1, and then 1 to 10 in height, and stuff like that. And there seems to be that this is the accepted thing for stabilization. In other words, for point of gravity, or whatever it is, these numbers are very good. In other words, if you would not build the towering ships that they try to get, you six things to look over, whatever it is, they won't tip so fast in a boat. So this is the center of gravity, it holds this. And basically it was a box. In the front, you have the roof went till a tefa, till an amma. Alama to chalena mil maila. That was the roof, so it gets it slanted off in the thing there. If it's ice, I understand that. If they build, you build slanty roofs. Why do you build slanty roofs for? Because you want the snow to slide off. Because if the snow keeps piling up on a flat roof, it may be so heavy it will smash through the roof. So therefore, most roofs are built slanty. When they come to big buildings, we have the thing is, you make a flat roof. That point is made because of first of all, you don't want anything falling off from the top that can hit somebody all the way on the bottom there, something like that. And you don't want that. So there, obviously, you build it strong enough that it won't smash through it. But basically, with the weight of snow, is to a point that it could break through. There was no snow here, so I can't answer it. Yeah. And he made it into 3 floors, and whatever it is there. And he tells him to do what? And he's going to bring a marble, and what he's telling him to do is, I'm going to make a bris with you, I'm going to save you, and we're starting the world again. That's why we're Bnei Noach, in a sense like that. Right? And from all the animals, what will happen, 2 will come to you. A male and a female will come to you. You should bring into the teva. Okay, it doesn't say, it says you bring it into the teva. Okay, and you should get him food. Okay. This is, and it says he did everything Elohim told him to do. Now, the very funny thing is you get the same tzivui from Hashem. But Hashem changes it. Right? And Hashem, the next one, Sheni, Vayem Hashem l'Noach. But the only time you find Hashem here, Hashem l'Noach. I want you to go into the teva because you're the tzaddik, and I want you to take from every kosher animal 7. Okay, and everything over it. So this is why. Okay, why is Hashem telling it to him? Why didn't the king tell it to him? Well, the king is Midas Adin. So Midas Adin is only interested. We want the world to exist. The world is going to exist by having 2 of each animal, and you're going to have a world. Hashem wanted you to bring korbanos. In other words, to somehow be Matthias, the thing after the marble. In other words, to start off on a different level, understanding that we have between relationship between man and the Rebbeinu Shalom. So he told him to take more of the kosher animals so they can bring korbanos. That's basically what he brought the things up. Now, in this, I assume it says he brought from every min, so even though a kosher animal for karbonis is only sheep and goats and cattle and cows, that's on the Mizbeach. But on his Mizbeach, he brought anything that was kosher. So it's all 9 kinds of animals, and how many types of birds, I have no idea that he brought on it. So it was an awful lot. But I want to say, it says, so we have a contradiction in these things. And it says that Vayas Noach Yechol Asher Tzivos Hashem. Did everything that Hashem said. How do you do everything Hashem said and everything that Elohim said? Right? So it means what I think it means is that from Rashi it's not 100% medayik that way. Rashi could say not that way. That two came to him, and the other 5 more they needed kosher. He had to go get. They had to go bring it into the table because it says what came. If you see over here, right after he finishes, the Noach was 600 years old when the Mabul came. He and his wife and his children and so on. Only Shnayim boiled there. 2 came. There was the other 5, right? And there was Ochne Kirishisi. So obviously you got to say that he went out to get the other 5. Different. These came to him, and there was thinking. Now whether dinosaurs existed, it didn't exist, I can't answer you. I don't know. Now I'll give you the theory that they didn't exist first. Yeah, simple. So how can we find dinosaur bones or stuff like that? So that wouldn't be a Gracie Kasha, because the Rebbeinu Shalom, instead of he made the world a certain size. Didn't make it 10 times as big. He made a certain size. And in this size, he has to have all the materials for all time, meaning for where all this world is going to exist, that they're able to build and rebuild, heat, everything else. So I got to have oil in the world, in the earth. I have to have coal in the earth. Whatever fuels I'm going to have, whatever things. Okay. Now, if I had to put in for all time, I don't know how much, where's the room for the water, where's the room for anything else that we need to have in this thing. So the Bensha made it that things deteriorate. That's how you get the theory of evolution, that things deteriorate into other things and other things in order to, that's what it takes. It takes 1 billion years for flesh, like with an animal, to become coal, or whatever it is, become oil, whatever it is. So he put it in different levels at the time, and as the time it goes, they kept disintegrating into whatever it had to become. So you didn't need a whole bunch more in the beginning, or a place to have everything, because there's always a renewal of stuff that's being done. That was the theory. So if that's the case, so the Benishim put down pieces or bones of things made out of what we needed. You had to shape it some way. You could have left the bone material in a big block, stone shape. Could have been, but then it wouldn't be definitive between a human, between animal and stone. So therefore, in order that, so they gave it the form also. It wouldn't have been a kasha. Okay, that's one simple way, and we don't ever find that they found an actual dinosaur. They found bones, and from these bones they made a theories of how the thing would have looked if it went to full size and stuff like that. Mastodons, they did find. Those the big elephants that they did find, and that is a different point on would be. Okay, but anyway, that's what they had. I have a whole theory on that also somewhere, but not here. And then there's the simple pshat that they did come, they existed, and they didn't go on to that teva. The Benishim didn't let them into the teva. What were they worse than the other animals? That I can't answer you. But were not led into the teva. Because you have the people, the animals came, a lot of animals came, and then when the people wanted to storm the teva, the animals protected them, and they all drowned in the marble. It doesn't make a difference, but the animals are the Ratzon Hashem. Okay, so it tells you that they went into the teva, what do you call it? Noach u'banov, Ishtei v'nei banov. That means that the Benishim forbade them the Isser of living together because the world is vitzah, the world is suffering. You don't have any enjoyment by yourself, so therefore that's also. So therefore, this made the Isser. We do know that there were three that did live in the teva, and one was Chum, that's why his children were black. Black children come from him. The raven, which is the fact that they give birth to white kids, and I've actually seen this. I've never, you hear what it said, but you never saw it, But there happened to be on the east side once, there was a nest of crows behind the fence, behind the sign, and you saw the mother and the babies are all white. But they're not clean white, they're dirty white, but because they're dirty, not because, but they're white. And they're saying until they turn black, so they don't really recognize them. Therefore, the Rebbeinu Shalom made it in the Yorev, Shekro Lefonav, that the Benishim feeds the Yorev, because the mother doesn't feed them. Because the mother looks at them and says, these ain't mine, and they're going color, stuff like that. And then there's the dog. Which dog are we talking about? I have no idea. I can't tell you because there's different types of dogs, and we do know that certain dogs that they are like avodim. In other words, even if you beat them up, but you're the owner, you're the balabas, they obey you, like anything. If you're not the balabas, they can attack you. Doesn't make a difference. But at what size do they stop doing that? The German Shepherd or the Nazi dogs or the things that they have. I can't answer that. The Huskies will kill you, will kill an owner even to that point that you have to actually with a whip control them. If you don't control them, they'll actually kill you. So obviously there's different types of dogs, and there's the Chihuahua. So we're talking about him too. I don't know. But the union of Avdus is seen there. That's part of the klola, the Avdus, to the point. But only really you see that in a dog. I don't know if you see that in an Erev, they don't see that in the Schwarze. This is they talk, this will have Eved which will be in the Seder again. I don't think it means every Schwarze, because first of all, as far as bigotry goes, we may be used to the language, a dumb Schwarze. What makes you think he's a dumb Schwarze? Maybe he's a smart Schwarze. How do you know? Right? But you see, you take a look at the world, the Benishim, the first king of the world was a Schwarze. It was Nimrod. So obviously, all the white guys listened to him. So obviously he was, they think that. And secondly, Nebuchadnezzar, they say, is also Schwarz. So again, another one. And then there was this, when the Roman Empire, when they, during the time, I don't remember which emperor started this, about the main army was Schwarz. Because they captured countries, they used them as the soldiers more than the original guys that were part of it. So there are different things. There's nothing eminently wrong with them, something like that. You may not agree with the Shitas, may not agree with that because that's the situation. That has nothing to do with what he called. you'll find Obama being very articulate and stuff like that. On the other hand, I wouldn't trust him, not because of being a Schwarzer, but because of what he called. And yet there's Schwarzers that maybe I would trust, and stuff like that. And that's one thing, has nothing to do with anything. It's not to do with bigotry. But it was an einish. The pshat is that you recognize that there's something that you're different because you did something different. Okay, anyway, the rain started. The question is, why did they need rains? It says, the rain was niftiku kol bainas tehaim. Rabba v'aruvas hashemayim niftachu. Two things happened. Right, he opened up something. Now we learned, originally we didn't discuss it this year because Parshas came out on a Friday. So it was the thing, the first, so we didn't have much time to talk about it. But basically, the question is, if the world was surrounded by water, right? Because that's how the Menachem gave it tzivui. The water should recede, and we should see the land. How does the water recede? Where's it receding to? Right? So it says this, so he put the water into the ocean. What do you mean put the water in the ocean? You put water into the ocean. Where's the room for him? If the circumference is bigger than the inside, so therefore that water is more than the world. So how are you going to put it in there? So I claim what he means is he made the ice caps that exhibit it. So the ice is higher than the water, and that isn't there. And therefore, what happened to Der Enish, that was that he warmed up the world to a certain amount of degrees, and because of that, the world flooded, and 1/3 of the world was drowned. They say if the world would get up, I think 1 degree or 2 degrees, I'm not sure, of what's warmer, then the ice caps will flood Florida. Florida will disappear. And stuff like that, because there's no real high points in Florida. 300 feet is the highest points that they have. There's no mountains there. It's all around sea level. So the sea level will just come in and float over. It won't be too deep there over there maybe, but the idea is it will be covered. So basically, since the Benish brought out the, what do you call it, the minus at the Haim, which is the hot water, and the water of the marble was boiling, so the caps melted, and you'd automatically cover up the world until 15 feet above the, what do you call it, and you'll have it back the way it was by Meister Bereshis. So why did you need the rain for? So it could be that the rain was just to show the anger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because he called them Takya. There's rains that are of nachas, that are good, they're happy rains, that Benishim are happy with, and then there's rains of kas, that there's anger, they cause flooding, they cause what do you call it? And therefore they are not considered good things for the world. So the Benishim brought it in just to show his anger, the Benishim. Not that it was necessary. The question is, what happened to the water after the marble? When it dried up, excuse me. When you say the world dried up, yeah, so the water doesn't get lost. What do I mean doesn't get lost? You have a dry spell, right? So there's a lot of water gets evaporated. What happens to that water? It doesn't disappear. So this was wet 15 minutes ago. We put it in the sun, and now it's all dry. Where's that water? The water just rises to the top. It doesn't disappear. It becomes steam, becomes this, comes up to the heavens, it gets cold again, becomes liquid again, and it comes down again as rain. The world goes around the circle. It doesn't disappear. When you're water, you're going to become water. When you die, it's going to be part of the water that's going to be. So the Benishim, I guess, made it into the cloud cover that exists upstairs. You go in a plane, you get 2 levels of cloud cover. You got the first level, and then you get in the middle, you get they keep going up at 10,000 or whatever it is, they're still going up, and the thing there, and then when you get to 33,000, you're hitting another level of cloud covers, and it stays up there. The Bensham wants something to bring more water down here, it'll come down. He doesn't want it, it stays up there. But the water is there, in other words, and that's why there's always water. So the Bensham, if he wants to give us water, he can give us water. Now, the Sahara Desert keeps growing every year, and it's probably about halfway down the African continent that it's desert. And therefore the animals keep getting more squished into the, into the middle part of Africa, and so down there. So we don't have any animals really going up higher than that because there's no food for them in the thing over there. But there's mashma, they used to have rivers under the ground. They have tons of pictures of rivers underneath the ground, but they dried up. There's no more water there. What happened to them, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, they had the 40 days of water, and everyone was alive in the thing, and the Rabboim Zoch, they came because of bow. They came. That's the Russian came. Okay. And this was 150 days. It basically was a year that they were locked up in the table. And that year is not counted in the counting of the years of the world, because no one lived. They're not called living. And what they did is they were up, the Shem, what do you call it, Shem told Eliezer of Avram that what did they do? He asked them, what did you do in the teva there? So he told them, they're up day and night feeding the animals. This one had to be fed at daytime, this one had to be at nighttime, somebody had to do it. And they had to feed them, they had the food. Don't forget, at that time, no one was eating anybody yet. No one ate meat yet, until after the Mabel. So at that time, even the animals didn't eat meat. Yeah. Okay. Then he brought down the Tavis, landed on the whatever date on Hori Arorot. I forgot the differences. I think Hori Arorot is about 18,000 feet, and Rashi tries to bring how deep, how did the teva, in a boat that's shaped this way, you'll take a look, if you ever go down to the docks, you'll see that about 30 feet they're in the water. But this was a flat boat. So how many, does it go into the water or not? No, obviously, when even something that floats, it's going to be, some of it's going to sink into the water. So Rashi brings down that the teva was 11 feet into the water, 11 amas into the water. I'm making a math that it was a quarter amma a day that it evaporated or whatever it is there. So from that was his rai, 15 amas above the water. He made whatever the cheshbon. So rai was 11 amas. So in order to dry up 11 amas, or whatever it is, to hit the ground, so it has to dry up 4 amas. Because if the water is 15 feet above, 15 amas above the water, and this is 11 amas into the water, so that means it has to dry up 4 amas before it hit the ground. So it hit the ground at Hori Arorot. So you would think that Hori Arorot is the highest mountain. That's not. We know Everest is the highest mountain. So that's like Minako. Okay, so this is something to insert out the soil. I don't know the facts or something, but we are able to check it and stuff that it could be worked out. The Earth is not a perfect sphere. It's not a ball. it's elliptical. It's a little longer on one side, on the other side, whatever it is. There's higher points, lower points. Different. When we count from 20 feet above sea level. You count from sea level. Depends which ocean you're talking about. The Atlantic is about 30 feet higher than the Pacific. So you automatically have a difference in that. And it depends where you're going. And out to soil, you have the Yam HaMelech, which is 1,000-something feet below sea level. So what are you going to do with that? So the thing that, we're not getting flooded over there. It's not that the water doesn't overcome and go into that hole. Whatever it means, however it is there. So the world has its own measurements and protections of why certain things are dry, certain things are wet, that we know. And it's also, if we go into the center of the earth, they may not all be to the same center. That's the point. Now, since it's elliptical, so therefore the higher mountain would be, which you say sticking out the most from the center of the earth, could be out to soil. But it's not necessarily the highest mountain, or Ararat, which is in Turkey, away from the center of the earth. Abel from sea level could very well be that Mount Everest is the highest, which is 30,000 feet high, almost, whatever it is. I'm saying, so by doing these type of things, you can make such cheshbonos. I don't know the emes of it, though. I can't tell you, no one, anyone went to measure it or not, something like that. But it seems that there is a difference between the taps and the really world. As long as it's 13,000 feet difference, then automatically it fits in with the numbers that we're talking about. The difference between Ararat and Everest is 13,000 feet approximately. 13,000 feet. So whatever it is. There's also another pshat you can say about Eretz Yisrael being the highest country, is be short that every mountain, let's say Everest, they start climbing it at about 13,000 feet. That's, I forgot what called, base 5 is there or something. And it's a flat, it gets flat, and then it takes off again. And then it gets flat again, and it goes off again. So each piece by itself maybe is only 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet. That's not a big deal, each thing. What makes it so the mountain, that last piece that went up is only 2,000 feet from the part where it's flat on the bottom. On the other hand, Eretz Yisrael could very well be from going from Yam HaMelech to Yerushalayim is about 7,000 feet. 7,000 feet straight up. So mainly there aren't any that big. They say Kilimanjaro is, I don't know, I never went there, so I can't answer you. But that's also like a straight up mountain. That could be, I have no idea. But these are just theories. I don't know nothing, you have more theories, you understand? Okay. Okay. Then he sends out the Yonah, and he sends out the raven. And the reason that he sends the raven, why of all the birds he took the raven, because he finds that he knew the Torah. He knew that by Eliyahu Hanavi he's going to send out the raven. So the Mason said they're made for shluchim. So he sent them. The raven, though, there were only 2 of them. He's not leaving. I'm not leaving my wife here. Only 2. So I'm not going. So it says he didn't let him back into the table. What did he do? I guess he had to feed him because there's no food. So he had to feed him. So either he fed him by leaving something on the bird and he would eat it off the boat, stuff like that, but he never took him into the table. That's why he uses the lotion. He kept going back and forth on a thing until the water's dried up. How long can you do that? I assume that you're talking about years, days and days here, and they're not talking about a few minutes. So I can't answer you. Maybe you landed on top of the table. I don't know, but he never came into the table. Then he sends out the Yaina, and the Yaina, as baby Taka, wasn't such a good messenger. The first time he comes back, he had nothing else to do, and he comes back with the olive branch in his mouth, and whatever it is there. The second time he sends him out, he doesn't come back. He's going to come back and return and tell us that the water dried up, something, give me the message. So I sent you out to find out, right? So I found out by you not coming back. I mean, so what kind of messenger are you? I don't know. So maybe talking to you, the Erev is a better messenger. I don't know. But the mice, that's what happened. And here was a little story with Taka and Chinuch, which is very important. Rashi brings it down. But Rashi brings down that he came back with the alizayis in his mouth, right? So what he said was that it's better to eat bitter from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because olives are bitter, than to eat sweet from the hands of a human being. So that would have, in Emerson, and I've heard a Rav give a good drush on this, that would have taught the Madar HaMabel a lesson. The pshat is that if you would have realized that, you wouldn't have stolen from other people, so therefore there wouldn't have been a mabel. Very nice, okay. Only one trouble, the Gemara says that the Yorev said, the Yaina said it to God, not to Noach, because this is what happened in class. One of my grandchildren was in class, the first grade, and the Rebbe is telling him the story. And it says, and the kid, and the Yonis said to Noach, I'd rather eat from God's bitter than from your sweet. So he asked the Bakikashi, that's not nice. Noach fed you for a whole year, and you're telling him I don't want to eat you from your food? What kind of nice thing is that? So that's because the Rebbe didn't know the Gemara really, right? If he would have known the Gemara, he wouldn't have made such a mistake. And the thing over there. So the point of learning sometimes with Talmidim, with older boys, you make it, you give a kasha that you can't answer or something like that. It's not so bad, but you do always trying to make it that the guy shouldn't be contradiction to his understanding. With little kids, somehow you don't bother thinking that much about them. You're telling them stories, stories, but if the story doesn't make any sense, what he called, and he had to check over it and say, it doesn't make any sense. What happened? The kid asked me this question. I got no answer for it. Stuff like that. Okay, it's a point of some preparation. Now, one thing that Noach was able to do that we don't find anywhere else, by the korbanos that we all bring, the Rebbeinu should make it Ishay Reich Nechoach Hashem. He sent down a fire first, and anything that we put on the Mizbeach is Ishay Reich Nechoach. That the Rebbeinu should accept it ready mitchila, like that. And the same thing was normal Mizbeach, you put it on. Noach was the first one that created a Reich Nechoach. He made the fire, and he made the thing, and he's burning up the things, and the Rebbeinu Shalom accepted it. So it says, that's why it says the Loshen, Vayorach Hashem es reach hanichoyach. It was a reach hanichoyach, and he smelled it. But then we're first making it a reach hanichoyach by smelling it. So that's the difference. So obviously that godless that Noach had, you don't find by anybody else. So obviously the truth, whatever he did that made it created into a reich nechoyach, I don't know whatever, but whatever he did, he obviously had that keach to be able to instill it in this thing over there. And okay, just want to finish one thing off to the last piece in Noach. It talks about Avram Avinu. Avram and what he wrote, the whole Maismul Kazdim is in there, and everything's in the needed to go in there. So it's one thing, if you look at the Parsha, that to understand who Sarah was. Sarah, it says the Rebbeinu wanted to talk to Sarah. Right? So you have some people that are bigoted against women will tell you, why do you want to, he went to the Bible, and he doesn't talk to Weiblach. Okay, he doesn't talk to women. So therefore he wanted to talk to Benishim, so he finally found the time, he gave a musar by saying he's so hooked in order to be able to talk to her. Okay, good, they state. Why would God be prejudiced against women? I mean, he's not a man, he's not a woman, so why would he be prejudiced against women? He made both, so what's the difference between the two? I don't believe that that's pshat. Pshat is that Sarah was different. Rai doesn't talk to men either. Find a Rashi in the end of Nosai that says that God doesn't talk to men, to many Nevi'im. He talks between he and himself, and the people can hear. That's all it is. But he doesn't talk to people. It's just passionate to eventually talk to people. So if that's the case, so what's the chiddush about Sarah? About he didn't want to talk to Sarah. So he said the difference is that if the difference is a man and a woman, because Sarah he wanted to talk to even though she was a woman. Why? Because you find between in the yichus of who Avram was. So it says Vayikach Terach es Avram Benoi. Terach took his son Avram, right? And Lot ben Haran ben Benoi, and Lot, who was the son of Haran, which was his son, which is his grandson. Ve'Sarai Kalosai, and his daughter-in-law, Sarai, right? Eshes Avram. What do you mean she's his daughter-in-law? She's his granddaughter. She's Haran's daughter. So why is he calling her Avram's wife? He should tell you this about something like he did by Lot. He said anything over there, because it doesn't say that Sarah was Avava. It says Yiska was Haran's daughter. Rashi tells us that who's Yiska? Yiska is Sarah, and why is she called Yiska? Because it is. But that's only a medrash. The pasuk doesn't beyachas her to Avram, to Terach. So nowhere in the Torah is that we know the yichus of Sarah. So she's so holy that even though he's the Tata, the Zayda, we're not going to tell anybody in the world that's the Zayda. Because that's nothing. She's so holy that whatever Maila that was, don't ask me what it is, I don't understand it, but whatever it was, that was what the Rebbeinu wanted to talk to. He wanted to talk to that person who somehow was able to berach itself so weit from Terach, even though being raised by him and everything else, and still there's no shaykhs between her and Terach, as far as that thing there. And that's what wanted the Yitzhak to talk to. That's why she was a bigger Novi, maybe than Avram, and all the other things that existed. Anyway, have a good Shabbos. The next few weeks, the Torah is, I'm going to be away for every Shabbos for the next 6 weeks. So, no, maybe 1 week in the middle I'll be home. So the questions of the timing and whether we'll have to make, I have to start these Thursdays or not, we may have to make a shiur somehow on a video or whatever it is, something like that. So just in case it happens, I apologize before. Thank you.